Good morning and welcome to another Wine Steward video. Happy New Year. Yep, it's January 26th and yet this is the very first video of 2024. Why? That's why. Meet Rusty. He's hanging out in the office today with me. Came to work. It's bring your dog to work day and stick him in the office, but he's happy in his crate with a bone. Right? You doing good? That's Rusty. And you'll see him on the sales floor once in a while as well. Let's see if he puts up with this video. He's never done one with us before, have you, buddy? Well, the tail's wagging. I think I owe it to you, wine club members in particular, to describe the wines that we are handing you this month. In fact, many of you have already come in and picked them up and have been asking, where are those notes? Well, life is busier lately, so I will get those notes done. But in the meantime, let me describe all 12 wines very briefly, and also say preliminarily that the wine bar is in full swing. We are still doing a menu every weekend. We have a beautiful lineup of wines out there that you can find out about by coming upstairs, because instead I'm going to emphasize wine club wines in this particular video. And yet these are available to non-members as well. And in fact, if members are hearing about a wine from another club, they are welcome to come in upon getting interested and acquire some of those. So why not know about these? If you are a non-member, if you're a member of another club, know about all 12 of these. Let's get to it. Actually, let me tell you first, there's always something first, right? That we fully understand and appreciate that some of you are not drinking this month. It's kind of a trendy thing to do, the old dry January thing. We have a very nice alternative product that has just come in that can maybe... Who is that? Who's that? Who's out there? Anyway, somebody's here. These are really good products. They're called Lyre. I think that's how you say it. Maybe Lear. But they're mocktails. They're very good ones. And I've tasted so many things, canned and bottled and otherwise, that are non-alcoholic, and say, no, it's too sweet. It doesn't taste real enough. This one replicates a gin and tonic very well. It's in fact made with tonic water and has juniper flavors, very delicate, and citrus, and man, you'll think you're having a gin and tonic when you have this over ice, perhaps a little slice of lime in there too. And this replicates a drink that's popular in Italy. It is called, I need these, Amalfi Spritz. Amalfi Spritz, so a little bit like a Negroni, you might say. Anyway, we've got this stuff for you who are not tippling in January. And take heart, January is almost over. Maybe, would you like one of these? No, you mustn't. I can't do that. All right, this is in our Curious Wine Club. Curious Wine Club is our least expensive wine club. It's for people who are curious about how the wine steward is doing with picking their wines. And so you're making less of a financial investment every month to get two wines that just indicate how hard we are working, tasting 150 wines every week to settle on just two for your club. So 2 red wines from somewhere in the world are coming to you every month in the Curious Club. This one is a full-bodied, very real tasting Cabernet from Washington State. So nice in body and structure. And what I mean by real is there's so many wines at this price point, and I think you've had them, and they're usually lining the grocery store shelves, that just taste a little fixed up, augmented and colored up, and just like false, not so real. This is real, solid Cabernet Sauvignon from Washington State. Also in the Curious Club is a wine that is made of Cabernet, Merlot, and Sangiovese. Sangiovese, maybe we're going to Italy. Yes, we are. This is Falesco. That's the producer name. Vittiano. That's kind of the nickname for this blend that works absolutely every year. This blend of Cabernet, Merlot, and Sangiovese. So it's got a little more power than Sangiovese would on its own because of the augmentation of those other 2 grapes. And this is in fact from Umbria. Umbria is the only landlocked province of Italy, a little kind of adjacent to Tuscany, east of it, and maybe a little south as well. Got to look at a map, but Falesco Vittiano, very nice Italian red wine. Boom. Next up, why don't we tell you about the wines in, the Pacific Coast Wine Club. when people are inquiring about our 6 different monthly wine clubs, they're asking, what kind of wine am I gonna, what am I gonna get? Which club should I join? And we ask them, we want to place you in the right club, and we ask you, what do you usually drink? Domestic wine or foreign wine? Do you want to go on an international adventure, or would you rather play it just a little safer and have New World style forward fruit in your wines? And so once they say the latter, we poke them into the Pacific Coast Wine Club. We used to call this the California Wine Lover Club, and now it's Pacific Coast Wine Club, because we find we are in fact sourcing fantastic wines from Oregon and Washington as well. In fact, Washington is happening more and more lately based on the wonderful value and understandability in the wines from up there. This is in fact a 2 Washington State wine club month for the Pacific Coast Wine Club. You're getting 2 beautiful Cabernets, one from Matthews, very full-bodied and solid, and 9 Hats, which is actually the second wine or the alternative project of Long Shadows. Long Shadows wines cost far more than this beautiful value in Cabernet, and yet the barrels that don't quite make the Long Shadows cut go into 9 Hats, and it's a wonderful value from Washington State. Good wines, nice hefty Cabernets coming your way this month. What have we next? Aha! So let's say you are a little more adventurous, and then we would recommend going around the world for 2 reds. So the Wine Adventure Wine Club gives you 2 reds every month that do not come from here, and the only criteria is that they must not be domestic, and they have to be red, and they have to be good. And interesting and good. Don't you want that, you wine adventurers? So what we're giving you this month is Yalumba. Oh man, I wish I had a wine glass nearby, because I really like this wine. This is, you all right? Yeah. This is Yalumba Grenache from Barossa Valley, Australia. And some of you who have had a lot of Australian wine may be thinking, well, this is going to be really rich and dark and soupy. It isn't. It's very delicate. It's 100% Grenache. And you may know that that grape is actually thin-skinned and does not confer a lot of color in a fermentation to the final wine. So this is in fact not big and black and dark like those Cabernets I was describing, but more delicate and elegant. You would think it's a wimp that would fry out on night 1. This is actually better, per investigating on my desk, better the next day, and holds up for at least 4 days. And that's remarkable for something that seems so charmingly delicate. It is a beautiful Grenache from Barossa Valley, Australia. And we haven't done this in a while, but this has appeared in our wine club before. It's the new vintage of Santa Carolina Reserva de la Familia Carmenere. Carmenere is so-called lost Bordeaux grape. It is a grape that used to be planted widely in Bordeaux, but once the phylloxera root louse destroyed all of the vines there, and it came time to replant, once a solution to that pest had been found, they decided not to replant Carmenere because it wasn't a dependable crop. It was not the farmer's friend. Made good wine when it ripened, but didn't consistently ripen. In the meantime, it had gotten on a boat and headed to Chile, and it was misidentified as Merlot in Chile for about 100 years, and it wasn't until maybe the 1990s when an ampelographer, someone who identifies grapes by the shape of their leaves, he said, that's not Merlot, that's Carmenere. And it's pretty cool that Chile has embraced this grape. So we could call this Chile's grape, really, even though it's a Bordeaux grape. Chile does far more with it. It's very good, very sexy texture, and smoky nose. What I always want to smell from Carmenere in order to say, yep, that's Carmenere, is kind of like a roasted red pepper along with a dark fruit. And that happens in this beautiful wine. Again, long-time members will remember that wine from previous vintages. Now let's take you to the Here and There White Wine Club. That club promises you white wine, of course, but also wants to take you here and there. So sometimes we'll have domestic white wine, sometimes foreign. In this case, we're having 2 foreign wines. What we usually do for our White Wine Club, Here and There White Wine Club, give it the full name, in December, is give them a sparkling wine because of that very festive time of the year. Well, we didn't get around to doing that, so we're making up for that this month with a cava, a very nice cava from Marques de Cáceres. Marques de Cáceres is actually a very large Rioja concern. Rioja is a long way from where this is made in the Penedès, closer to Barcelona. And in fact, they have a separate facility there for the making of this very, very good cava. So Marques de Cáceres cava, beautiful, bright, dry, sparkling wine. Very, very good. We're going to take you next to Austria, and you can tell by the top, nearly every Austrian bottle has the flag, the Austrian flag there. represented. That's kind of handy. This is Stadtkrems, and I'm probably saying that wrong. Weingut Stadtkrems. I just gotta frown when you say it, right? Look, serious. This is wine that is not serious. Yes, it's bone dry and bright, but man, what fun, beautiful fruit and white pepper, and maybe even a sense of grain or lentil happening there. It's very delicate, and yet there's a thought-provoking sense for those who smell their wine, and I hope you smell your wine. It's delicious. Grüner Veltliner. I think I forgot to tell you what the grape is, but Grüner Veltliner is, just as Carmenere is Chile's grape, you could say, Grüner Veltliner is the white grape of Austria. Beautiful stuff. Yes, we have it in California, but these guys do it best. Just look for that. And yes, let's tell you about what's happening in the World Class Wine Club. So remember I was telling you about the Wine Adventure Wine Club taking you around the world for red wine? Everywhere but here. Well, the World Class Club does the same thing but gives you, let's say, better wine. You're paying more, you should get better wine, right? So this is Bisci, and this is going to be a Super Tuscan. It's from Tuscany, Italy, and it has no Sangiovese in it. Remember the wine we used to sell here called Il Fano? I hope to sell that wine again. The bummer is, in as much as we've been very supportive of that wine over the vintages and have even clubbed it several times, Il Fano has gone up quite a bit with its wholesale price. So we've been looking for alternatives, and we've landed it here with Basciano's Il Pini. Il Pini is a Bordeaux blend, just like Il Fano is from Tuscany. Bordeaux blend, yes, it's using Bordeaux grapes like Cabernet and such. And you're wondering, well, why do I go to Tuscany for a Bordeaux blend? Why wouldn't I go to Bordeaux or to the Napa Valley, where Napa proliferates? I'll tell you why, because this still tastes very Tuscan. It tastes very Italian. You've got this like Bordeaux flavor thing going on, and the Sottobosco thing going on as well. Sottobosco, that's like underbrush, and a very Tuscan sense that you will smell and taste in this wine. It's delicious. Now, I did say that the World Class Club takes you around the world. What I do reserve the right to do once in a while is provide you with a red wine that is actually domestic but acts a little foreign, and that's happening here in Double Lucky 8. Very unusual name. This is made by Christophe Baron of Cayuse on the eastern side of Washington State. Actually, right over the border from Walla Walla. You're about 10 miles south of the town of Walla Walla at the most, and you've entered Oregon. You've actually come into Oregon into what's called the Rocks District, which is one of the most interesting places in the wine world, and it makes some of the most interesting, eccentric, fantastic wines in the wine world as well. There's nothing like Rocks District wine. Whether it's Cayuse making it or Savaya or the other producers there, you can always smell and identify the Rocks District in a wine from the Rocks District. This is going to be made of Syrah, Grenache, and get it, Tempranillo, about 1/3 each of those three grapes. A very unlikely bringing together of grapes that you rarely see blended together, right? These are the barrels that did not make the Cayuse cut. A Cayuse bottling would cost you about $150 and up. This is not inexpensive, but it certainly doesn't cost that much, and we were able to get it into the World Class Wine Club. We bought all that was left of this very limited vintage. This producer barely gets his wine into California. We are one of the lucky purveyors of Cayuse, and now its second wine, Double Lucky 8. Grab some while you can. Finally, we're going to tell you what's in the Red Collector Club this month. What is the Red Collector Club? That is the club that gives you Cabernet blends, all domestic, and probably some of the most ageable wines that we're giving your club. In other words, you can collect them. You can put them in your cellar. We will tell you in the wine club notes, if I ever get around to writing them, whether or not you can, in fact, get into that wine right now and enjoy it. Like, how easy is it to sip now? Are the tannins softer in this particular wine? Well, let's go first to Howell Mountain, where you would expect a wine to need a lot of age. This is delicious now, and yet it can be aged. This is made by Robert Craig. Robert Craig himself has actually passed away, but the winery continues, and this is a Howell Mountain-based winery. A very, very good value for Howell Mountain wine. If you've ever bought Howell Mountain wine, you know you're spending $100 and up. Typically, this is better priced. Very, very nice blend from there based on Cabernet. Howell Mountain Cuvée from Robert Craig. Howell Mountain, Appellation, Napa Valley. Kind of weird to say Howell Mountain in the Napa Valley, but that's what you got to do. This wine, a little more easygoing because it grows more on the valley floor of the Napa Valley. Yes, you go to the mountain for structure and darkness, and you come down to the valley for something that's a little easy and more ready to drink. This is our old friend Turnbull. We haven't had a nice Turnbull wine in the Red Collector Club in too long. And so time is nigh to bring it back to you. And you might notice when you look at the prices of these two wines that we are cramming a lot of wine into your club per price. You could say, well, Jim, all you have to do is jack up the price and your advertisement sounds a little fishy, but you know what? We're not. Look at, feel free to look online at how much these cost out there and then factor in your 10% off discount and you are getting a hell of a lot of wine for what you're paying to be a wine club member. So consider, we try to find you value for all of your clubs every month. That's why we taste so much, scribble so many notes, and once again, or once in a while, remember to take the dog out for a walk, because now I'm factoring that in. Well, thank you very much for being club members. Those of you who are not, maybe you're intrigued, maybe this is an advertisement for you. We would love to have more members. The more we have, the better value we can show you, because we buy more and therefore get better value. That's in fact why we're able to get these particular wines into your Red Collector Club, because your numbers matter when we talk to a vendor and say, hey, I don't need one case of that, I need many cases of that. And they say, we can make a deal. Well, thank you, Happy New Year, and it's time to go outside. Good dog.